Hello, my name is Clarissa Longoria, and I wanted to come on here, one, to tell my story, but two, because I am just so utterly bored in this hospital that I just thought I would get this done right here, right now. Um, I wanted to come on here and tell everyone thank you for all the prayers and all of the comments and all the encouragement that I've received in basically the last year. And I know that people were part of things and know about things in different ways and levels, but I just wanted to make a video for anyone who cared to or who wants to listen about the ways that God has answered our prayers and the ways that He has saved my life, and um, just the miracle that is God um, loving us enough to redeem us and to save us and heal us. So I'm going to tell my story. It's going to be a very detailed video with pictures and referencing the past, and it's going to be a lot, but that's because God's done so much that I want to share that with you guys. And I have my notes here so I can keep track of everything. And I pray that this encourages you guys and also challenges y'all to trust Him in whatever area or whatever situation that you find yourself in today. And as much as it is a testimony, it's also a story of my suffering and my family's suffering and the grief that we've experienced in the last 9 months. And so it's going to be emotional. I'm probably going to cry, but that's okay. So that's kind of like, I guess, my introduction. And to begin with the introduction, I wanted to tell you guys about myself in case you didn't know. My name is Clarissa, and I'm 25 years old. I am married to Jaron Longoria, and we live in Abilene, Texas. That's where we work. I used to work as a registered nurse, and my husband works with campus ministry in Abilene with Every Nation. And I am the daughter of John and Arlene Lavaki. I have 4 wonderful siblings that live in various parts of the country, and I was born in the Philippines. I lived in Papua New Guinea for a few years before coming here, and I've lived in Texas most of my life. And so I went to school at ACU, got my nursing degree, and I've been nursing for about 4.5 years now. And that's just a little bit of background. So we've been in Abilene for about 2.5 years, as long as we've been married. And up until January 2023, my life was a normal life you'd think of for a 25-year-old nurse. Worked 3 shifts a week, and then 4 days off. I would play a lot of soccer. Soccer is my absolute most favorite thing to do in the world. I'd spend time with my husband and my sister who lives with us, and we would just do normal things. And I was very, very healthy, very well, and I didn't really have any health issues at all. I was really, really strong and well. And so that's just like the background story. So something else I want to share that's kind of going to come up a lot in this story is about my personality. I am a very determined person, and I'm also very independent. So that means that I want to figure out everything on my own. I want to figure out the answer to the problem, even if I created the problem myself. And that has caused me to be a person who likes to scheme. So I'm always having a scheme in my mind. Like, I'm always thinking about my dreams and how I'm going to get there. And if you guys know me or my husband, you'll know that I have like a 5-year plan. And my 5-year plan, and it's 5 years because that's the shortest that I could get it to be so that I could reach my goal. And my goal is being a full-time medical missionary abroad. So I naturally made a scheme for 5 years how we're going to get there, me and my husband, how we're going to become full-time missionaries that are living abroad debt-free. And I had it written out in a contract and I had my husband sign it. So that's the kind of person that I am. I usually have a plan and I usually like to do things my way. Of course, as a Christian, we're always challenged to submit our ways to the Lord. And so this story is just about how God has taught me that, and I'm still working on it, but that's an important part of this story that I'll share with you guys. So now we're in 2023, and we're at New Year's, and we're with my family around the table celebrating New Year's Eve, and we're sharing testimonies, and we're sharing words that God is giving us for the next year. And for some context, in the year 2022, y'all might have seen on my Facebook, my husband and I were able to pay off a lot of our student debt by working really, really hard and focusing in on paying off our debt. And so we were coming into 2023 feeling really victorious and really happy. And I was like, yeah, like we did that. We did that, baby. And and excited to work more and earn more and like have more freedom with our money to be generous and to do the things that we want with our money rather than paying off debts. And and I remember that we were supposed to be thinking about what God wanted us to know for the year 2023. And I was very, very uncomfortable with the word that he gave me. And this is what he said, and I shared it with my family. Look how much you've done in 2022 on your own strength. Now, sit back, stop working, and see what I can do without your help. That's basically what he told me. He told me to stop working. Yeah, I struggled with that one, but I heard it so clearly and I had to tell my family, and y'all are not going to believe just how that word plays out in this year. So I'm coming into the year with that word. At the same time, I'm thinking in my head, how can I get around that? How can I pick up extra shifts and no, I'm already thinking against that will of God. So we come home from the holidays, and in the third week of January 24th, I'm in the ER. Well, a few days prior to that, I noticed that I'm just starting to get sick. I don't feel well. I don't feel energized. I just feel like maybe I have COVID, but I was negative for COVID. And the day before I was in the ER, the day that I was in the ER, I had called in sick to work because I was feeling terrible. And I had this 102 fever. And I had excruciating back pain, ripping, squeezing back pain in my left back. And I tried everything. Yoga, hot bath, hot packs. I had Jaren give me just rub it down. I could not get rid of this pain in my back all day long. And I just felt sick. And so then finally it's the nighttime and I go to lay down, and I lay down flat and I cannot breathe. I can't breathe flat. And so I had the thought in my brain, I better not be throwing PEs right now. PEs is short for pulmonary embolism, which are clots in your lungs. When I had that thought, I also had the thought of, I need to go to the ER. I think I have pulmonary embolism. And so we went to the ER, and this is my first experience of a doctor basically blowing me off. So we get there, and I tell them I'm having shortness of breath and pain in my back. And so the doctor comes in and says, well, you don't look short of breath and your oxygen's good. And I said, yeah, I understand, but I don't think I'm well. And so he did the protocol, and the protocol showed that I, in fact, did have 2 to 3 pulmonary embolisms. I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but it was not even just one, it was multiple clots in my lungs. And I was admitted that night in the same hospital that I work at. And I was in the hospital for 2.5 days. They treated me with blood thinners, and I went home on blood thinners for 6 months. Well, I thought to myself, how could I possibly have gotten pulmonary embolism when I don't have any of the risk factors except for that I was taking oral contraceptives, which I immediately stopped. And I thought, maybe I have lupus. I have a strong family history of lupus. Lupus can increase your risk for blood clots. And so I asked the doctor in the hospital, like, can I get tested for lupus? And he said, you'll have to follow up with your primary care provider. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I proceeded to get myself a primary care provider in Abilene and followed up with him the very next week. Or no, it took a while because of insurance. But the next month I was following up with my new primary care provider. And I asked him if I can get tested for lupus. And he says, no. He says, no. Okay. Why not, doctor? Well, he says, you probably don't have lupus, and you probably got the clots from the oral contraceptives. And I said, okay, that's fine, but can we just like test me just in case, just in case? No, the answer is no. Okay, that's fine. I was also instructed to follow up with a hematologist. So I got my hematologist appointment. I said, hey, can I get tested for lupus? No, I don't think you have lupus. It's not likely. I said, okay, but can I just get tested? No. Okay. So I went back to my PCP. I said, can I get tested for lupus? Or like a consult to a rheumatologist. And he agreed to the rheumatologist to consult. It never happened. Never happened. I called the office so many times. Every day I called the office. Did you guys send the consult? Did they get the referral? No. I called the referring doctor. I said, did y'all receive anything? Any fax? Nothing. 2 weeks this goes on. Nothing happens with a referral. Okay. Very frustrated at this point. And I'm building with resentment because I'm like, why can't I get a simple test done for lupus? And why do these doctors keep putting me in this box and thinking that I can't possibly have it? Just because I'm 25 and look healthy and well, I think they did. They put me in a box and said that this is what she is and this is what she has, and we're not going to do anything to question anything else. So that was a very, very challenging situation for me. But the reason why I let it go is because I was getting really angry. I was becoming really angry at the world, feeling really jaded, and these doctors kept making me feel like I was kind of crazy and letting me down. And so I was very bitter, and to the point where I was kind of like being mean to everyone that I loved. And so kind of had an intervention, a moment where someone, helping walk through forgiveness and walk through kind of like letting go of the anger that I feel towards God and towards the doctors, and how they feel like they're like kind of just neglecting my care. And so around March, I had this intervention, I call it, and I kind of just let it go. I was like, whatever. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so I kind of forgot about the lupus thing. But I knew that something was wrong because the doctors told me it would take me 3 to 6 months to recover from the pulmonary embolism, to get my strength back, to be like how I was before. Well, we were coming up to 3 months and I still was very far from my normal baseline. Like, I was still very, very weak. And my husband, I had to depend on him for a lot to help me shower, get my food, get things for me. Like, I couldn't go out. I couldn't walk more than down the street without feeling like short of breath. and extremely tachycardic. So I said, why are these doctors telling me that I'm fine and I feel like I'm not fine? But I did get a referral to a cardiologist and pulmonologist, and they both kind of cleared me. They said nothing's wrong from their end, and I said, okay. I still don't know why I'm feeling so terrible, but I just kind of let it go because it was driving me crazy. So I just let it go. And I said, whatever. I guess I just need more time. Well, in that same time frame, it's between January and April. I have 3 months of short-term disability, and I'm at home by myself a lot. And I'm just thinking to myself, all these, as a nurse, you just think about all these things that could be wrong with you. And also, I was thinking to myself, if I can't get well physically, if I can't work out, I can't even work, I'm not going to let myself rot in this bed. I'm not going to just sit here and watch Netflix. I just can't do that to myself. So I was very determined. I said, fine, if I can't do physical activity, I'm going to do spiritual, mental, and emotional activity. I'm going to get myself well in every other sense of the word. And I did. I was very determined. I read a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and that set the tone for this whole year for me. I really delved into my relationship with the Lord because I had so much free time. I just spent so much time with the Lord. I had all the time in the world with him, and I just allowed him to speak to me and take away the bitterness, take away the anger, and also show me the kind of person that he wanted me to be. I think that I tend to rush a lot in my life, like most people, and he taught me the value of slowing down. I was being forced to slow down. I felt like I was being stripped of my independence, my freedom to do what I wanted to do, and I had the choice to make. Am I going to take that as a reason to be resentful and bitter and angry at the world, or am I going to use it as an opportunity to grow and humble myself? And I did a little bit of both, but mostly the second one, of course. And I think I did become more in tune with the Lord. Like, that was my most consistent, disciplined time that I had, those months of just being in his presence and listening to him. And he's taught me so much about myself and life and himself. And especially going through like the season of Easter and Lent, and allowing him to really kind of teach me what suffering is, being stripped of what you feel like is yours, your right, and letting God be the one to make things right, I guess. So that time was a really interesting, weird, uncomfortable, but fruitful time in the sense that I was able to work on myself. My mind was really sharp. I could focus more. I had more concentration because I just wasn't in a hurry. I wasn't overloaded with things in my life. I could beat my husband at chess for once. I was just really getting sharp and growing in other areas of my strengths. And so I was learning how to be a more loving wife, a more loving sister. And that was kind of up until April.